Hi, this is Dustin Newman with Hilltop Disposal. In this video, I'm going to go over the planning of your disposal well. So behind me, I got a picture of a regular disposal well. A couple of things the two biggest things you're going to look at is your disposal zone and then your injection string to determine what kind of rate you're going to want from your disposal zone, from your disposal well. So your disposal zone, this is one where you're going to want to get a geologist involved. And the disposal zone itself, you want something that's very thick. The higher the porosity and permeability, the better. And then you want it as extensive as possible. So a geologist can look in your area, look at all the different zones and go, okay, this one looks like it's the best fit for a disposal zone. So obviously the thicker, the more water you'll get away. The more porous, the easier the water is going to flow into the formation. And then extensive, you don't want something that's a little pod and you put a well in the middle of it. You want something that's going to be extensive in all directions for miles. So if it travels for hundreds of miles in every direction, the better, because that way you won't fill it up and start to pressure up your disposal zone. So that's the disposal zone itself. But when it comes to actual sizing of your disposal well, how do you know what disposal injection string to run? Because once you figure out your injection string, then you can figure out, okay, if I want this size of injection string, I'm going to need the casing this size to run the injection string inside. And then your surface casing has to fit both those strings inside. So it kind of gives you an idea of, okay, everything flows from the injection string. Everything else is sized off the injection string. So how big do you need your injection string? So this graph here, I plotted out. It is your injection rate versus friction pressure loss at 1,450 meters. And it has the different injection string sizes, common ones anyhow. So you got your 3.5 injection string, 4.5, 5.5, 7-inch, 8 and 5/8. Up the side, you've got your injection rate. Across the bottom, friction loss. So, for example, if you want to inject 3 cubes a minute in a well, down a disposal well, you're going to need an injection string that can handle that capacity. So at 1,450 meters. So for this well, running a 3.5-inch injection string for 3 cubes a minute, that's not going to work. Even at 4.5, 3 cubes a minute, that's going to give you about 4.5 MPa pressure loss, just due to the friction of the injection string. That's probably pretty tight, because you're going to need some pressure to push it into your formation. And then the last one is the one that probably makes sense would be your 5.5. So at 3 cubes a minute, you're losing about 1.5 MPa to your injection string. The rest will be pushing it into your formation. So that's probably more doable. So as soon as you know you need a 5.5-inch injection string, well, you can size your casing to that and your surface casing to get an idea of going back to this drawing. If your injection string's 5.5, then you can size your production casing maybe 8 5/8, and then your surface casing off that as well. So it all kind of, once you figure out your injection string size, then you can size everything else. Something else this graph does, which is pretty interesting, is once you've drilled your disposal well and you're injecting, let's say you're having problems, you can't get much water away. Well, this will kind of give you an idea, okay, how much am I losing to my injection string? How much pressure is it taking to push into the formation? So let's say you've got that 5.5-inch injection string. You're trying to inject 3 cubes a minute, but you're only getting 1 cube a minute, and you're pressured up to 7 MPa. Let's say that's your well. All of a sudden, at 1 cube a minute, you're hardly losing anything to friction pressure, which means your formation is pressured up. Now, this might take a little bit, obviously, takes a lot of pressure to push it into the formation. What are the reasons for that? Is the well new? Has the well been around for a while? Has the pressure been building over time? It gives you some ideas of what the problem is. Are you in a good formation? Are you in a poor formation that you're injecting into? All those things will help determine what the problem is. Now, I'm not going to go into the plugging and stimulation if you do have a formation that's causing problems. That'll be in a different video, plugging and stimulation, which you can look for on the website on a different tab. But this graph kind of gives you an idea of, okay, what is the actual problem? If you'd like a copy of this graph, I'll send you a PDF copy for free if you like. All you have to do is give me the depth of your formation and whether you want it in imperial or metric units, and I'll email you a copy for free. If you have any questions, my contact info is below. Feel free to contact me, and thank you.